Hey everyone, welcome to today's session of GDSC Banasthali Vidyapith. This is your host Priyanshi Gupta, a team member of GDSC Banasthali Vidyapith. A huge thank you to our audience for awaiting this session and joining us today. If this is indeed your first time attending a GDSC event, let me guide you through GDSC. Google Developer Student Clubs are college community run by students who encourage peer for building a collaborative environment that has the potential to generate solutions to real-world problems. And GDSC Vanasthali Vidyapith is one among them. With that being said, we take immense pride in introducing our guest speaker for the today's session, Mr. Aarnav Jindal sir, who is a product manager at Scalar, a 6-star coder at CodeChef, and has a rating of 1932 at Codeforces. He was one among the top 3 percentile of Google Kickstart. We are glad to have you here with us, sir. Today's agenda includes interview preparation tips, ACE online assessment through CP, resolve your queries live. Without further ado, let's dive right into the insight of competitive programming with Mr. Aarnav Jindal, sir.
Great. Thank you so much, guys, for having me here. Very thankful to the DSA Vidyapith team for inviting me for this session. So I think many of you must be interested in what is competitive programming, what is the hype all about, and how to get into CP, how does it help, get a good job, how does it help with your on-campus placements, off-campus placements, and like what is the fuss all about, like what exactly is competitive, and why is everyone trying to join in, jump into this field, and why is it probably so much fun, and even if it is not, then still why are people so drawn towards this thing. So I'll try and share my experience with you guys and try to decouple and demystify a lot of these things for you guys. So starting off, I think I'll just share a brief about my journey with competitive programming and end it with a bit of my tips and my experience on how anyone can ace competitive programming. So just to set context, I started like just last year in my 4th year. I started Codeforces, wherein in just 4 months I was able to go from a 1500 rating, which is where you start at, to a 1932 rating, which is the candidate master rating, if you guys are familiar with the terminology. And I can say that achieving a candidate master level is something that is very respected in the community, and not a lot of people are able to achieve that. And being able to do that in 4 months is, I think, what helped me get to a pedestal. I think get to a platform wherein people started approaching me for like, how did you do this, what was this wonder that happened, what is the mystery all about. So that is one thing. The second part is the 6-star CodeChef rating, right? I did a bit of competitive programming in my 2nd year, which is when I actually started programming, but I left it because I found interest in dev. I started doing Android a little bit, but I picked up competitive a little later again, and I was able to, again, in just a time frame of 2 months while I was doing my internship, I took out some time, did some CP, got back to CodeChef, and I was able to hit a 6-star rating in 2 months. So I think these are some things that are there on my profile, which get people very excited and very interested in what went behind the scenes, right? You can all see the success that I was able to achieve. But what really happened behind the scenes, what was the grit and determination that went in, what was the hard work that went in. So I'll try to share my experience with all of that. So guys, I did not have computer science in 12th. I hated computers because of the way it was taught in schools. I think it was all cramming. We were never really taught what computer actually is, like what it means to be in computer science and how it will develop later on in college. So I absolutely hated computers. So I took economics in 12th. But after, like many others here, I had no clue what to do when I start my engineering. And that's when I left the decision to my parents, and they said, okay, everyone is going for computer science. That's where the jobs are. That's where everything is. So with a heavy heart, I still went into computer science with wrong expectations that it would be a lot of cramming. But when I went into the field, I had no background in computer science, no idea what it would involve. But that's when I discovered, a lot of my friends were talking about doing programming. Like, you need to do programming if you want to get into Google, if you want to get into good companies. And programming is the real essential for making it somewhere. So I did a few courses on C++, some sort of basic courses. And that's when I first familiarized myself with coding. That's in first year of college is when I actually understood what even coding is. And from there, I think the journey has been fabulous. So as soon as I ended my course in basic C++, which I took from coding blogs, I had a great teacher, Prateek Naran. You guys might have seen him, his profile on LinkedIn. Great teacher, great mentor. Recently working at Google at an SD3 level. Still teaching on Udemy and stuff like that. Great teacher. If you want to start a basic course, go ahead with this C++ basics course. That is the best thing you can do to start off. So after that, I think I actually took some time to work on Android and to do web development, because I actually had no clue what to do. I did not have good mentors in college, like who can give me full-time guidance. I had great mentors, but not someone who can 24 hours try to help me out. So that is when I try to dabble a lot in a lot of these buzzwords that are going around. Android kar lo, web development kar lo, ML kar lo. Then there is this VR, AR, IoT. Everything is there. Blockchain. I have done projects on everything. I have worked out on everything. Wasted time on everything. So, but it was later that I realized if you want to get a good job, you have to do DSA well. You have to do CP well, which is what hit me in my third year. When I was sitting for placements, that's when I realized, यार यहाँ पे तो DSA ही चाहिए. यहाँ पे किसी को web development नहीं चाहिए, किसी को Android नहीं चाहिए. All they care about is, can I solve these 2 questions in this 1 hour? That's all they care about. Which is, although a limited way of looking at hiring a candidate, but kya kare, that's the way hiring works in India. So I started putting a lot of effort into CP, started doing CodeChef, and CodeChef again I started with once. I think people start with 3 stars, so that's how I started out. Did some hard work. Initially, my rating fell down to I think 2 star because I had no clue how to go about it. But with time, I built up my profile there. Tried to study a lot. Try to do more questions on lead code, try to do questions on Geeks for Geeks. So that's how I got out of my struggle period, which is, the first 1 month when you start, you don't know what to do. You don't realize like kaise chalna chahiye, kya karna chahiye. And that 1 month period is where a lot of people drop off. And that's where, before even starting off, before completing that grind, which is the first 1 month, people drop off, which is, I think, a sad thing. And no one should do that. You should realize that anything you ever start, the first 1 month will, there is a certain phase wherein there's a grind, where you will feel, yeah, things are not working out. I'm failing at this. Everyone else is doing great. Why can't I improve? Why can't I achieve? That happens because there's a learning curve, right? So you start off slow, but it grows off very quickly. So that it's an exponential curve. And that's what happened with me as well. Put in some months, reached like a 4-star rating. Uske baad, I started my internship wherein at Visa, where I worked a bit. And then, I got back to CP because it was time to end my internship, come back to college and sit for on-campus placements. And because I wanted to sit in on-campus placements, I had to improve my profile in competitive programming. Otherwise, I knew I wouldn't get a good job. So that's when I started pushing on CodeChef. And wahan pe I was able to achieve 6-star rating in 2 months. And after that, came back to college, still continued doing CP. Fortunately, I got a great job at CureFit. It is one of the 5 top paying used to be one of the top 5 paying companies for graduates in India. And I landed a job there. After that, I went on and pushed further. I thought, let's push it further. Let's see what else I can do. I went on to Codeforces. And after that, I put in a lot of effort in the 3 months because I was in my 4th year. There was not a lot to do. No one goes to college in DTU in fourth year apparently. Maybe in other colleges as well. Don't know what's going on there. But I had a lot of time at hand. So every day I would put in 2 hours, 3 hours, doing competitive programming on Codeforces. Doing past problems, doing contests. It was a struggle. It was a real struggle because initially you start at 1500. I did 2 contests, 3 contests. So you need to realize I had a 6-star rating before I started Codeforces. And when I did Codeforces in the first 2 contests, my rating fell down to 1400. So that was a real kicker, a real shock for me because I thought I am invincible, I can do anything. And from, like getting a 6-star rating in CodeChef where everyone is like, wow, yeah, this guy is a genius. You're not able to solve questions on Codeforces and you fall down so quickly. Codeforces can be a little brutal, but my rating fell down. I was, but at that point I convinced myself, again, this is that 1 month grind. You have to stick it. Otherwise, you lose a potential opportunity, a potential to learn. And that's when, despite failing, I kept on. I kept on doing it. I kept on practicing, and that's when the wonder happened. I think after 1 month, I got back to 1500, and after that, I was able to push it further with each contest. I gave around 40 contests. Was it 40? Yeah, I gave around 40 contests in a span of 4 months, I think. I'm not including the time where I did not do Codeforces because I was also busy with my placements, my exams, and stuff like that. But in 4 months, I had approximately 40 contests, and in 40 contests, I was able to push my rating up every contest. Finally, I reached the candidate master level, because of which I posted both these achievements, 6-star and 1932 on Codeforces, both on LinkedIn. If you see, my profile is very active on LinkedIn. So therein I was able to get 2 opportunities. One was with a company in Japan. One was with a company in Singapore. They actually approached me themselves. Yeah, you have a great profile. I think people there actually know what CodeChef and Codeforces is. They approached me for an interview for jobs, and I was also able to get some interviews in a company in Germany. Yeah, so all because of my CP profiles, and they approached me firsthand because I posted and because I was able to show off. That see, this is my skill set. This is all that I can achieve. So unfortunately, those opportunities did not pan out well because I actually got the offers from those companies, but Corona happened and then they had to rescind their offers, so could not go there. But I actually got international opportunities, guys. This is unbelievable just because I did well in Codeforces and CodeChef. Similarly, there were 2 companies locally also. They also approached me for opportunities in India. They were not as good as CureFit, so I did not I did not apply or did not try out for them. But even now, you won't believe it. Even after 1 year, I now don't have time for CP, unfortunately. So I don't actively participate anymore. But even after 1 year, people still approach me for jobs. I have been approached by all top companies that you can think of in India for an opportunity. So I did not have an interest to leave, so I did not apply there. But just because of the CP profile, I was able to get great opportunities and callbacks from recruiters. So this has been my story, and I hope you were able to get maybe some sort of inspiration for now. We'll try to deep dive into some questions so that I can answer specific queries as to what to do in CP, how to improve and stuff like that. But that's the gist. I think that's what I'd like to start off with.
Okay, sir. So here's some few questions. Are project necessary to crack placements?
No, not at all. That's a great thing because in India, you see, people only care about DSA. They care about CP generally. No one cares about projects. No one cares about dev. I learned that the hard way. I wasted 2 years on this. No one cared about anything that I had done in dev, unless you are a very passionate guy, passionate person, and you love development, and like you can do open source stuff or basically open source. If you are very interested in open source, then I think you can create a great career using just dev and making some projects. I think you can check out Kunal Kushwaha. on LinkedIn. Great guy. He got offers from Google America and Google Canada, I think, because of his great profile in dev. So, but that's some rare cases, exceptions, those great guys, because it takes a lot of effort to improve in dev and to make great projects that would get an opportunity. The easier way out is CP. Might be a little hard to accept it, but it's easier to do CP according to me. So, if you want to do projects or DS or development, make sure you have a great interest so that you can make a career out of it. Otherwise, I'll suggest go with CP.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, can you suggest 2 resources which everyone must follow for DSA?
Cool. So I don't know. I'll talk about if I should talk about resources, because you can go anywhere, right? This is the great thing about the digital age in India right now. You can go anywhere, find great resources. My go-to resource right now in 2021 would be this Udemy course on C++ Basics by Pratik Narang. It's just a 350 rupees course, great course. You can get it, and it will teach you all the basic concepts necessary. After that, guys, you can go anywhere, you can go to anyone, but the hard work you will only have to do, right? So resource doesn't matter as much as the person does. So if you have the grit and determination, you will make it. So it all depends on you. Don't like bank on some resource. If you want to start, go with the Pratik Narang course. After that, practice yourself on competitive programming platforms if possible. If you need a question before starting off, probably do some questions on interview bit. Great platform. But after that, you'll have to get your hands dirty with CP when it comes to CodeChef or Codeforces, and that will help you achieve your goals. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, how much programming knowledge is required to start CP?
Great question. So basics would be, your basic DSA. Very basics. It's never a good time to start CP, I would say. It's like people always think they are underprepared, which is what happens with a lot of things. So I would say just make sure your basics are clear. When I say basics, I mean your basic data structures and algorithms. Data structures would be arrays, strings, linked list, tag, queue, sorted map, unsorted map, trees, graphs, priority queues, and am I missing anything? Yeah, these would be the basic data structures. Algorithms would be divide and conquer, dynamic programming, greedy, ad hoc, recursion, uh, binary search. Yeah, so if I think I listed out 16 things. So if you can do all those 16, like on each topic, I think if you understand it good enough, and if you can do like at least 5 questions on each topic, that's a great place to start. At that point, you are ready to start your CP journey.
Okay, sir. Sir, any 3 tips to ace off-campus placements?
Off-campus placements, interesting. So guys, when you go off campus, the competition is very high, because at that point there's no protection of college. Even if you have a decent enough, like okay CGPA or okay projects, you still get a chance, or an interviewer will still see your resume. So that's what changes in off campus, which is a great thing for someone in a tier 2 or tier 3 college, uh, because in tier 2 or tier 3 you might not get a chance to apply to many good companies who come on campus. So for tier 2 tier 3 it's a blessing off campus. For tier 1 maybe not so much, but what is important is, I think, have 2 interesting decent enough projects on your resume. By decent, I mean, it shouldn't be something silly like I made a phone application, I made a calculator. Anyone can do that. That's a very basic thing that you can do. Do something interesting, make an application, like a location based reminder application. Maybe make a application wherein you can where transactions can be settled. Let's say you have a group of friends, each of them has to pay each other some money. It's called Splitwise. Not sure if you have seen, if you guys have seen the application. There's an application called Splitwise. You can check that out. So some simple applications wherein you can incorporate some basic UI along with an interesting algorithm, or adding some backend so that you can solve some decent level problem. So there must be similar examples in AI, ML, VR, AR. blockchain, stuff like that. So something decent enough. 2 projects are good enough. Nothing beyond that is necessary. Along with that, having a very good CGPA is very, very important. Guys, if you are going off campus, believe me, you need a CGPA of 9 plus if you want to be in the best possible position. Above 9 is great. Above 8.5 is good. Above 8 is decent. Below 8, your chances of getting a call back, according to me, are rare. So try to push your CGPA as much as possible if you are banking on off-campus opportunities. So your resume, your CGPA, finally your DSA skills. Anything and everything is fine, but what you need to present at the end is your DSA skills. So focus a lot on your DSA, if possible do CP, and polish your skills as much as possible.
Okay, then, sir, can we pick some question from comment section?
Cool. I think, can you guys pick some questions?
Yes, sir, I picked some. So let me ask. So, sir, what are the best platforms if you want to start programming?
Okay, programming. So for programming, I think Geeks for Geeks is best because they have a lot of good resources when it comes to going through structured questions and even some explanations. I think right now it's actually not a very good portal. The information there is not the best, not very well structured, but just to make do, I think it's okay. So go for Geeks for Geeks. Better platforms can be, if you're doing some problem solving, then you can go for LeetCode. And LeetCode is fine, I think, but unless you go for premium, it's very difficult to do good questions and stuff like that. Then I think the best platform which everyone right now is using and endorsing for is InterviewBit. If you go out there, you will find all the questions that are there on LeetCode are definitely there on InterviewBit. There is no stupid stuff like waiting in line, waiting in queue. Everyone's code gets compiled at the same frequency, at the same pace, and their ID is also better. They have improved their ID a lot. It's actually one notch better than LeetCode right now. So I think InterviewBit is a great platform if you want to check out. Besides this, what else? Maybe you can check out HackerRank. HackerRank has a good profile of questions to start with. They even give you some stars and stuff, to encourage you. So that's also decent enough. Yeah.
And sir, what are the platforms which are best to start with CP?
CP, I think for practice, Spoj. I never did it. I still don't. I never liked the platform myself, but many people start there. So Spoj, maybe you guys can check it out. Hacker Earth. Again, I never liked the platform, but many people like it. It has a good array of weird kind of questions to try out. So that my preferred go-to platforms always have been CodeChef and Codeforces because these are globally recognized. Their questions are very good. They have a good community out there, and even the solutions that are presented after the contest ends, for upsolving is the best resource to learn. So I would suggest these 2 platforms, but if you want, you can check out a few others like Spoj and HackerEarth also.
Sir, how much time should one spend on a programming question?
Cool. Interesting question. So according to me, you should not spend more than 40 minutes on a question. 40 minutes includes your time to think, your time to code, and your time to, go through the tutorial if required. Because guys, you need to understand, when it comes to coding, there are a lot of concepts. Like the concepts will never end. And you need to improve your breadth first before you can get into the depth of some important concepts. So don't waste more than 40 minutes because if you start spending more than 40 minutes on any question, that is an absolute colossal waste of time. Unless you're very confident with your DSA, like 6-star on CodeChef, 1700, 1800 on Codeforces, that time it's fine. You can take the time you want. But initially, for someone starting out, or even generally, my recommendation is 40 minutes. Anything beyond that is not advisable.
Okay, sir. Sir, how to learn coding from very basics to high level?
For basics, I think I'll still endorse the course by Prateek Bhaiya on Udemy. Great course, great instructor, great mentor. Uh, how to go beyond that, so starting out, obviously you will have great courses to learn, but beyond that, my experience has been that it's easier to learn by doing it, right? That's the best way to learn anything, having practical experience. So my recommendation would be to try out problems on interview bit, on CodeChef, Codeforces, and maybe even the Discuss tab in Lead Code. That's something interesting where a lot of interesting problems, the recent problems come up from Google, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, stuff like that. So I think these might be some great places to start, but and they already have some progressions in there, right? If you start CP, there are already progressions, so you will be able to identify, okay, have I improved, how much I've improved, and you will be able to see, okay, basics to aa gaya, but how much am I improving on the ladder. So yeah, this would be my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how much is DSA related with CP?
Okay. So DSA, guys, it's like the basic building block. If you're laying out a building, you need some foundation. So DSA is that foundation. DSA is very important. You need to have a thick, strong foundation, because when you do CP, although there are a few data structures that will repeat a lot more often than others, but you will find that having knowledge of those other data structures becomes imperative for some rare questions that do come in. And also, if you understand the data structures well, you will understand, okay, I had arrays, why did I even make another data structure? If you look at it, a stack, a queue, a hash map, they are basically some sort of optimizations on array for some sort of problems. So why was it even required in the first place, right? So if you can understand that, if you have that sort of understanding of concepts, it will help a lot in CP. Because during CP, what you'll find is you need to make your own data structure sometimes, or you need to understand the very basics of some concepts, like the data structure chali kyun raha hai? Why do I need it? When you know that, it becomes very easy to do CP. So having a strong DSA base is very important to get into CP.
Okay, sir. So the next question is CodeChef good for beginners?
Yeah, definitely. So what I recommend is, you start out and do a basics course from whatever place you find useful. After that, try to do CodeChef till 4-star. Till you hit a 4-star rating, CodeChef is a good platform. After 4-star, what happens is CodeChef problems become a lot more mathematical, especially nowadays, rather than being focused on data structures. So after you hit 4-star rating, if you want to continue on CodeChef, go for it. No harm in that. But my suggestion would be, if you hit 4-star, your DSA is very strong. Your concepts are very clear. Now you can move to CP. So after 4-star, move to Codeforces and try to achieve at least a rating of 1800, and if possible, push it beyond 1900 and 2100 and so on.
Okay, sir. So what you did different that led you to being a 6-star coder at CodeChef?
Cool, that's an interesting question. So what I did differently, I think what everyone does differently, who is able to achieve this kind of rating on CodeChef, Codeforces, is upsolving. For those not familiar with the concept, upsolving is basically after a contest ends. So let's say I did a contest on CodeChef and I was able to do, out of 8 questions, I was able to do 4. Now what mistake people generally do is they are happy, yaar, meri 1000 mein rank aa gayi, I'm happy, I'll leave. But that's not the point of going to a contest, right? The point is getting a good rating, obviously, that's fine. But the important thing is learning. So if you just did some questions, you didn't learn anything, what's the point? You'll be stuck there only. So after you're done with the contest, firstly go through the tutorial, see the answers for even the first 4 questions. Because what generally happens is, let's say you were able to solve something in n square, those first 4 questions could have been done in n log n or on. So there is some learning there, right? that you can include next time and perform better. So always go through those questions as well. After that, let's say go to question 5. See what was wrong in your understanding of question, and like what you could have done differently, what was missing in your knowledge because of which you couldn't do the 5th question. And if you are able to understand that, great. If you think there's some problem, try to find some similar questions on the same concept and do those questions. And finally, even if you are able to understand the 5th one, go to the 6th one, and so on. Like, I generally recommend just 1 question. If you can push it, then 2. I don't recommend doing beyond that, because that's an overkill. But obviously go through the questions you were able to do, as well as 1 or 2 questions beyond the questions you were able to do. This is called upsolving, and this is what actually makes the difference between an average coder and a star coder. Learning from each process, learning from each contest, and then what happens is, if you don't upsolve for the next 4 contests also, you will be able to solve just 4 questions. If you upsolve, you will be able to solve, let's say, 4 questions for the next 3 contests, but for the 4th one, right, you will be able to solve 5 questions definitely. I've seen this happen with myself, with others, with everyone. So that's the benefit of upsolving, and that is what you need to actually improve in cognitive programming.
Sir, can you please tell us some examples for projects?
Projects, okay. So one is the splitwise application that I told you about. That's an interesting thing. Second is something I made, which people have never tried out, surprisingly. We all read about Huffman encoding, like how it can be used to do compression. I went online and saw कि किसी ने भी कोई project नहीं बनाया Huffman encoding पे. Like, no one has used that algorithm to make their own compressor. So I used that algorithm and made my own file compressor. And you can actually compress files. So I was able to achieve a compression of 50 to 60% based on that algorithm and my own implementation. And it can actually compress and decompress the files. So it was a beautiful thing for me. So see some algorithm that is there in your curriculum, maybe even some computer science concepts like memory, caching, stuff like that. So find out these concepts and try to apply them to the real life. I understand those have been applied and some problems have been solved, but can you do something differently, or maybe implement the same thing but based on your own understanding, based on your own way? It's not like no one has ever used Huffman encoding in professional products. Obviously they have, but when I tell, okay yaar, maine Huffman encoding padha, I actually made my own project from it. There's a website that I have made. You can go there and put your file there. It will actually encode it and then decode it for you as well. So you can actually run it. I have provided an interface. So it looks very interesting, very impressive to the interviewer. So I think these kind of projects, if you want such projects, I think you can go to my GitHub. I have made like 10 to 12 projects like this on some small concepts, and I even made like a WhatsApp chat list which is based on LRU cache and stuff like that. 12 projects are there, so you can check it out. And I even made a course with a good institute, Coding Blocks. Now that course is running around on pirated websites. You can download that course for free and do those projects from there. So yeah, if you want, you can try that out.
Great, sir. Sir, is participation in groups better than individual participation?
In terms of what?
In hackathons or some like in making projects or in hackathons?
So in hackathons, I think the question is anyway not there because in hackathons you actually have to take part in a team. I don't know if the question fits there, but when it comes to making projects, guys, I think it is better if you can actually have someone on your team, to make the projects. Because when you sit with an interviewer, they ask you, okay, have you made the project? I'm like, okay, yeah, I made this project. It was a big project, at my scale. So the next question was, okay, did you work with anyone on this or did you make it alone? I was very happy and excited कि सर मैंने तो खुद बना लिया, बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट था, देखो मैंने अकेले कर लिया. And I was very excited कि यार मेरा तो बड़ा अच्छा impression पड़ेगा. After the interview ended, this is what he told me. He said it's not a good thing that you worked alone on a project of that massive a scale. Because when you're making such a big project, it's actually good to have a team, because it improves the final product that you're making, as well as it shortens the duration and the iterations on the product itself. So he said it was not a positive thing that you did it alone. It would have been better if you did it with a team. So if you are going with a small scale project, like something you can make in 1 week probably, then you can go alone. But if you're making a big project like that would require a month from your end, it's better to work with a team. It will help you even during the interviews.
Great, sir. Sir, should we have strong maths for CP? Like to start with CP?
Maths, I think having good hold over maths is good. It's important, I think. But I wouldn't say too important. I do understand like there are questions on permutations and combinations that come in, and that's where people get stuck. But that is something you can learn. Like it's just another thing that you have to learn, like advanced data structures like segment trees, tries, and binary tree, Fenwick tree, stuff like that. So don't worry about it that much. Just start. At least start. You know, if you don't know something, you'll learn it. So don't worry about math being that important.
Okay, sir. Sir, how to be consistent with CP?
Consistency. Okay, how to solve that? See, guys, my reason to be consistent was very personal, and I think something a lot of people will relate with. But it seems weird if I talk about it. My only motivation to do CP well was to get a good job जहाँ पे मेरे को अच्छा package मिलेगा, जहाँ अच्छी salary मिलेगी. I don't think there is a better motivation. At least at my stage, it wasn't, because I cannot say I loved computer science. I loved programming. I did enjoy making applications and stuff, but I did CP and DSA just because I wanted a good job, and it did help me get a good job, you know, and great offers. So my motivation was to get that great package, and how it can be even a better motivator for you guys is I actually saw people who were in my class who had similar grades in 12th, similar grades in JE mains, JE advanced, stuff like that. They did not do CPDSA as well as I did. Now what happened is, after placements, they had a job offer where their salary and CTC were approximately 75% to 60% of mine, just because they didn't do CP well. तो इतना मेहनत करके हम इतने अच्छे कॉलेज में आए, just because you didn't do something in college, उसकी वजह से they lost. Okay, I won't talk about the differential that there was a difference of 10 LPA. There was a difference of 10 lakhs per annum between my job offer and the guy who had an exactly similar profile to mine, just because उसने DSA नहीं किया. So can you see how big a difference is 10 LPA? And try to project it over the next 4 years. Every year you at least get a 10% promotion. At least कोई भी average company हो, 10% promotion होगा ही होगा. So if you start out high, you take 10% of that high amount. So your curve of growing is steeper compared to the other guy. So after 4 years, the difference in CTC will be around 20 lakhs. Generally, it becomes 30 lakhs, just because that guy didn't study well in college. And what difference आएगा? मैंने देखा है. Currently, I'm working at Scalar. Like we have some access to data there, but like in my personal experience, I have seen that graph thing happen. बहुत weird लगता है उस time when you see 4 years में that यार काश मैंने कॉलेज में पढ़ लिया होता तो आज इतना डिफरेंस नहीं आता. So I think that was my motivation. Hopefully it can work as a motivation for you guys.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sir, the last question we'll pick is what would you suggest a roadmap for CP for first year students?
Cool. So roadmap, guys, again, I think start off with basic DSA. Like what people generally do, which is a mistake, is that they think यार हमने school में 12th में computer science पढ़ी हुई है, हमें basic DSA आता है. Guys, sorry to break this for you, but you don't know anything right now, because the DSA that you study in 12th and the DSA that you need to get a good job in college, you know, these are very, very different things. So don't fall in that trap. Don't waste your time because of that. Do a course. ठीक है, YouTube पे फ्री कोर्स कर लो, कोई बात नहीं, कहीं पे पेड कोर्स कर लो, सही है. Don't think you know DSA just because you did something in 12th class. So don't do that mistake. After you do the course, after that, you'll have to push yourself only. No one will come to push you. You will be able to find some courses on competitive programming which might help you out. I think Prateek Bhaiya on Udemy, he's also working on a course on competitive programming right now. Maybe you can try that out. I don't know when it will be out or if it's already out, but maybe it can help. But I'll suggest, DSA karo, and after that try to do CP yourself. Thoda lead code karo, thoda CodeChef, Codeforces khud karo. If things work out well for you, great. If not, maybe you can check out the course that Bhaiya has on Udemy and maybe coding blocks, and do that course, and that will help you even push yourself further. And so basic DSA, then go to CodeChef. CodeChef पे 4 star तक पहुंचो. उसके बाद go to Codeforces. Try to push yourself as hard as possible. Keep a goal of at least reaching 1800. Like that's like a bare minimum to get a good job off campus in a tier 2, tier 3 college. तो वो एक बार अचीव कर लो. अगर वहाँ पे नहीं पहुँच पा रहे हो, कुछ दिक्कत हो रही है, तो try to take help from a course which I recommended just now. And then I think you will be in a great position. Everything you do, like every time you are able to achieve a milestone, put it out on LinkedIn. Great place, great platform. Each recruiter is there, be it India, abroad, everywhere. So great place. Putting out your achievements there helps you a lot. Many people don't realize it. Many people don't realize the power of that platform. So put everything there. Mention it very properly on a LinkedIn profile, and I hope you go places that you want to go.
Great, sir. Sir, thank you so much for answering all the queries and taking out time from your schedule for providing us with insightful suggestions. This session would definitely help us to improve our CP and ACE placement.
Sure. Thank you so much, guys. Do follow DSC, GDSC. I mean, Banasthali Vidyapith. Great.
Banasthali Vidyapith.
Banasthali Vidyapith. So sorry for that. Great guys, great team. I think they are doing fabulous work with this DSA series, and I think many things will come forward. They will do well. Thank you so much, guys, for having me here.
Again, we would like to thank you, Mr. Aarnav Jindal, sir, for such an amazing, enriching, and insightful session. We are excited to share that within 5 days is that on 26th August 2021, we have our next session, DSA session 2, on maps, SATs, and sorting techniques. So stay tuned with us, social media handles for all the updates. And our first open source project, Code Crossroad, is live, and all the links have been provided in the description box below. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We wish to see the same zeal and enthusiasm for the upcoming speaker sessions as well. See you guys in the next session. Bye.